What up, y'all? Got a little something special for y'all today. Think you can tell me what a 2JZ is, right? Because guess what? There's one right here. Oh yeah. This right here is your JDM GTE 2JZ, right? And little telltale sign is that it has this here, the oil return for the turbos. It's a little telltale sign, but anywho, I'm going to be taking the head off of this here. Why? Because I got a built head from Head Games Motorsports in Jersey, and this is a good bottom end. I mean, the whole motor is good, right? Got it from Engine Depot out there in New York or Jersey, is it? And I want to put the freshly rebuilt head on this good bottom end. Then, after that's all said and done with, we're going to pair it up with a brand new CD009 and put it in this here Lexus SC300. Crazy. Just put in the Greddy intercooler kit. Right, little sneak peek. Then, couldn't stop there. We got powder coated goodies on the way too for it. Subframe, control arms, all that crazy stuff. Here you go, look. Figs Engineering control arms, Tane coilovers, Wilwood pedals, right-hand drive conversion. Oh my God. This thing's about to go so crazy. I got a whole bunch of other things in store for this thing, like custom seats tailored for me, straight from Japan, from Good Gun Racing, No Good Garage, specials. And man, this is about to go crazy. But anyway, let's take these cams out, get the head off, and see what we got. Let's do it. Alright, first things first, get the 10mm bolts off the cam covers. Right, and we got 10 mils here, but there's a certain process that I'll put a photo up here for you so you can see what I'm talking about to take these out. And you're going to want to turn each bolt head, you know, about 45 degrees, 90 degrees per time that you are touching each head. You don't just want to zip them out, because then it'll leave it uneven, put completely random pressure on the shaft, and could potentially snap this cast shaft straight in half. That's why I got to do it in specific order, certain amount of rotations per order, and then you slowly, gently lift it out. But to get even to that process, gotta take the timing belt off. So here goes the tensioner. Tensioner's what? 214s, 212s, 214s. Drop that off, right? That would relieve pressure. Take the timing belt off. There's a timing cover here that has to come off. They're 10mm bolts, right? Get those off. That'll get that loose, get that pre-done. Then, if you want, get the cam gears taken care of with these 14 or 17mm bolts. But to get those cracked loose, you gotta put a wrench on this here. I'll tell you the exact size when I figure it out. But you hold that there, bust it loose there, pop the cam gears off, take the cover off. Then you're ready at that point to start the process to do the special rotation and amount of backing off each bolt head to get this out one by one. So yeah, let's do it. All right, ready to take these cam gear bolts off. 32 wrench, hold it right in the air. Don't put pressure on the sides because you'll crack it. I'm gonna get an impact and zip these off one at a time. Then after that, you can simply just pop off the gear. Do the same thing to the other side. Then you can take the cover off, and then you can start taking the cams out. All right, cam caps can come off. They're not really going to play a game with the exact fastening of these main caps down. So these you can pop these off, get those out the way, and then up on the screen here in front of you, I'll leave the diagram of exactly how to do it. It's very specific. Again, I'm only going to turn each head about 90 degrees, each one I touch, until it's fully lifted and ready to, you know, remove the caps. Now the caps are numbered. Like this is obviously 1 that says E2, E3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's an arrow on it with an E and a 2 for exhaust. This one says an I for intake, so you can't exactly mess them up. It's pretty much self-explanatory, you know, right side, left side, fronts, backs, you know. So yeah, let's get this going right now. All right, so now I'm going to follow the diagram, and we're going to get these off little by little. Like I said, we're not trying to go real crazy with the amount we're undoing them per session, right? We're only taking off about 90 degrees each turn. So follow the diagram and remove each one as needed. One, two, three, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that, for each time that you do it, about 90 degrees, and then you would slowly lift that camshaft evenly without risking torquing it and snapping it in half, because again, this is just cast steel. Strong, but then again, in certain ways it's pretty brittle. Then, after that's all said and done with, a piece of cardboard, punch some holes in it, put the bolts respectively where they went. That's what I like to do. Some guys will just mix them up in the bin. I don't do that. I like to put them exactly where they were. So there's no confusion, no binding, no issues whatsoever. The caps, self-explanatory. You can zip tie them together, put them in a clean box. They're numbered. Just don't get them damaged. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So do that process, do the same thing for the other side, and then you're ready to go for the head bolt. So I'll show you how to do that shortly after. Alright, then you want to go, I don't know, Harbor Freight, Vance Auto, AutoZone, Napa, go get yourself an M12, right? Looks like this, right? Go get yourself an M12. Got a little visit from Cheese Balls, the 2JZ cat. What is it, Cheese Balls? Oh my god. She's like 2JZ or die. Anyway. So yeah, there's a sequence to take the head off, just like the cams. And you don't want to mess it up. Because if you do, it could crack the head. Just, you know, strip out the block threads, this, that, and the third. You'll have a hell of a time and probably a junk blocker head. So do it correctly. Follow the sequence. Do a little bit at a time. 45 degree, 90 degree. Each head that you do, each bolt that you do, and then yeah, you'll be good to go. So let's do that right now. And to get these washers out underneath the head bolts, because again, every head bolt has a washer underneath it, right? You can't leave them there. You got to get them out right now, or else you'll forget about them, and then you're gonna put new head bolts in, and you screw yourself. So long story short, I use this. You know, you could use a screwdriver, but I don't recommend it. I recommend one of these old school finger grabber tools, right? Get all those out. After you get all those out, you're pretty much ready to rock. Because then this thing's all freed up, make sure no grounds or wires or anything's connected, no hoses. Then give a couple taps with a sand filled rubber hammer, right? The head sits on dowels. You gotta knock it free off them dowels, right? After you know it's freed up, lift it, place it nice and clean, evenly on some nearby cardboard, right? That's it. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, a little bit of GTE action. Oh yeah, that's a good one. She ain't too bad. She looks neat and decent. Definitely neat and decent. I like it. So what we're gonna do is take the head gasket off, clean up the deck a little bit of razor blade action. Try not to score it. Take the dowels out. We're gonna get new dowels, and yeah, we'll go from there. And you wouldn't believe it, but this whole time I'm ripping this 2J apart, my cat Cheese Balls is climbing around. Cheesy, what are you doing up there? You hanging out? Huh? Look, I'll show you. She's like literally. Cheesy. What are you doing, Cheese Balls? Huh? You chilling? And you know damn straight she can get down herself, but yeah, let's take a look at this. Yeah, that don't look too bad at all, Mo. The cylinder walls look great. I don't see no damage. I mean, the pistons themselves look just fine. Yeah, I think that's a good little, a good start. I'll clean up the deck surface, right? Get it prepped with the brand new GTE head gasket multi-layer. And then put that fresh head on. Tighten her down with the brand new ARP 625 Plus head studs. right? Lock her and load it. Call it a day after that. Yeah, this thing's gonna be sweet, right? Probably start off like 450 wheel. But yeah, let's clean this up. All right, now look, I cleaned it up a little bit, and then I noticed that when I spun it, it was a little catchy, right? So that means that the rings were catching on to the sides of the cylinder walls. Now there ain't much I can do because this is a motor straight from Japan, and you know, it's seen the ship vessel, salt air, you know, from the ocean. It's been sitting for how many years because I haven't used it. So what I do is I put a little bit of ATF fluid, make sure it goes around the rings, right? Give it a couple of spins, and that should coat the walls, get everything all touched up with some ATF. ATF is like a lubricant in its own way, and it's more of a detergent, right? So I really just want to get it past the rings and let it work a little while, and it should do just enough to hit that. There's a couple little light rust spots, not enough to catch a nail on it, but a little bit of surface, and get it all worked in, and it'll smooth right out. Like right now, it's a world of a difference, right? And you can see it as you rotate it. It's creeping farther and farther down. You can physically just see it doing its job, just working out. So give that a bunch of spins. You know, get that all worked in down there, and then that's pretty much it. Let it soak also overnight. And then come tomorrow, we'll clean all this up, right? Get the dowels out, get the fresh dowels in after we clean the deck. Make sure it's all ready to rock for new head gasket. Studs, right? So there's a process for all of that as well, the installing the studs. You don't put them in dry. I would chase all the threads first, clean all that up, put the correct lubricant on the threads, so on and so forth. We'll do all that tomorrow, but for right now, I think we're at a good spot. We're at a good position. So I don't know, I might flip it over, take a look at underneath, but for right now, I think that this is good for right now for today. Quick tip to get these dowels out, because they're like, bro, there's no threads on, there's no nothing. How the hell am I gonna get them out? Right? Get yourself a pair of decent vice grips, you know, something half decent, right? And you're gonna wanna grab it. Now, don't angle it down into the block. Keep it flush, right? Good pressure, and then back and forth while you lift up from the underneath, pops right out. Easy as that. Don't let the little things in life scare you. This ain't shit, right? Quick little tech tip for you. What up, y'all? We're back at it the next day. Got a head gasket in, laying over there. Take off this top layer of gasket material. I got a bunch of microfibers. I cut them up. I put them down in the thread for the head stud area, and I put them in the oil galleys. The coolant, I'm not exactly worried about that, and it's kind of almost impossible to plug those up. It's not a big deal. The oil galleys is a different story, you know, personal preference to whoever. But and then I'll get a couple rags and I'll put them down here. These are already up top, so it's not gonna go crazy with that. But and I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up. What up, y'all? A little change of plan. I got some 3M Dum Dum. Right, there's the part number. Right, and I stuffed it between the cylinder wall and the piston, so it blocks any debris and all that nonsense. Because the cookie wheel, it's nice for like a fine cleaning, but wasn't getting the thick stuff off. So I'm just gonna do this. Use my Durablock, some sandpaper. I think I got some 80 grit right here. So yeah, it's already doing a great job. And then obviously after we'll check it with a straight edge, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's do it. All right. After I Durablocked it, looks pretty damn clean. Right? It's a half decent surface. Nothing's catching on my nail. I say that's pretty damn good for a new gasket. I know it ain't the best, but it ain't the worst. So, let's get this baby cleaned up. What up, y'all? Another day, another dollar. So, when I left off, I cleaned the deck. So, today, I already put the dowels in, covered it just for right now. I got the head gasket. I'm about to put the head gasket on, right? Then after I do that, I'm gonna drop the brand new Head Games Motorsports head on it. Then I'll put the studs in, washers, torque it all down, and then we'll be ready for intake, exhaust, turbo, all the other nonsense that bolts onto it, cams, all that good stuff. So let's put the head gasket on. All right, real quick, I'm going to install it without touching it. If that makes sense. Right? I don't want no finger greases and shit all up on it. Boom, that's it. She's on, it's done. That's it, she's on. Everything looks good, it's on the correct way. That's all she wrote. Let's put the head on. Let's put that fresh head on from Head Games. A little bit of finessing, a little bit of this and that, it ain't gonna hurt it. Alright, the head's on, easy as that, right? Smooth. Alright, so for each washer, right out the ARP pack, it's got a light oil on it, so don't rust, don't flash rust, so I'm cleaning that off, right? I'm gonna clean that off first, spick and span, Sam I am, and then just a little bit, coat the whole damn thing inside and out. Get a little rub on it, right? Nothing crazy, not so it's dripping off it, but just enough so it's coated. See a little extra in between it, get that out. Again, you just want this thing coated a little while. Then drop it on in there. Use your clean Allen key to move it around with. That's it, you're golden. Repeat that process, and then you'll be ready to go for the studs. All right, all the washers are in. I would definitely recommend putting the washers in first, right? Because once the stud's in there, you're not gonna be able to get the washer in after that. So then, go get your stud. That's got the lube already on the thread. And at this point, I would also do top and bottom of lube. You know, I wouldn't want to reach down in there and try to lube up the stud down on in there. So do both ends while you're already at it. It's all fully covered on the threads. Take a little bit off the stud area and then get her on in there, hand tight. Now, prior to me putting these studs in, when I had the head off the block, I chased the threads, right, with a tap, just to clean up the block threads, so there's no debris, nothing down in there. So then when you go to do this, everything is smooth. All right, so there, it's snug. Do a little bit of taunt by hand tight, that's it. That's all I'm doing. Just a little snug and hand tight, that's it. That's it, I snugged it with my fingers. That's all I'm doing. If that ain't doing it, I don't know what the hell is. So, all right, do that to the rest of them, and then we'll be ready to put the nuts on it and torque them down. What up, what up? All right, what we got? So, I got all the nuts on the studs with the washers underneath them. So now I'm gonna torque these down. There's a specific pattern that's given to you, and that's how you gotta do them. So there goes your pattern. Start from the middle and work your way out. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You see what I mean? So we're gonna go by this. We're gonna start off at 50, then we're gonna bump it up to 75, then we're gonna finish it off at 100. Gotta do it 3 times. It's gonna be a pain in the ass, but let's do it. We're back at it. So quick, I wanted to do one side. This is the exhaust side. Up next, we're gonna do the intake side. I'll show you how to do that and we'll go from there. Again, you gotta put grease. I use the ARP grease underneath the bolt heads and on the threads. And then I'll use assembly lube so everything goes in and spins smoothly when you go to start this thing up. So let's do it. It's real easy. Get ARP bolt fastener lube, put it underneath the bolt head and on the threads, and then before you put the cap on with it, I put some extra lube, assembly lube, underneath that cap and on the journal itself, and of course the hydraulic lifters. Everything gets assembly lube there, metal on metal, and then you put everything in, all the bolts, all the caps. I just get a couple threads on each bolt. Instead of them pulling out and being loose, I'll lock them in with, I don't know, 2 turns each. And then it will start the process of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is the exact process. And I would go at least 180 to start until some of them start to get tight. Then you go 90 degrees per turn. And then after you're pretty much all locked and loaded, that's it. It's a done deal after that. So I'm not finishing all this right now, but just for right now, I'm covering it up. And then until tomorrow is when I'll get this thing all squared away with the valve covers and so on and so forth. But yeah, for right now, this is a done deal. This is a done job. And then later on, of course, we'll do the cam gears. We'll do the tensioner. We'll do the tensioner itself, the hydraulic tensioner, and then the wheel, all that good stuff. Probably even the timing gear down here as well. We'll clean all this up, put all that together, spin it over a couple times manually to make sure we got no problems, everything's spinning smooth, and then hey, that'll be it. We can go on to the next steps.